One other one, and maybe I'm just going to ask for confirmation of what I thought I was hearing from each of you, that branded video content is not a fad and it's here to stay.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and Lynn was saying, as he was saying, I was giving her right on in my head. I think in 10 years, like the way we think about advertising will be completely different. I think that traditional 30-second spot has a limited runway, and the future of advertising is going to be something that's much more integrated, much more native, much more something around the lines of branded entertainment.
There are a lot of changes that are occurring in the responsibilities of a media agency today, some threats, some opportunities. How do you see the role of a media agency changing as we go forward from here?
I think it will only expand. I think we talked about the convergence between media and creative, but I think it's going to all be one and the same moving forward in the very short term. I think we've already seen that rapidity over the last 3 years, and it's going to grow even more so going forward. I think the exposure that a media company has to consumer insight, as well as to just how the consumption of media is changing, is just great, and which makes us so endemic as a partner to brands. I also think that they rely upon us greatly about, why do people come into my brands, and what can my brand provide as a utility to consumers that nobody else in my category can provide. So I think that will only increase, especially as people develop and determine their branded content strategies. So I think that's going to only amplify from here on out.
Chris, let me ask you the question in a slightly different way, if I could. Do you think that your clients are becoming your competitors?
Not yet.
Not yet, but do you think they will?
We run that risk. I think what we need to lose as an industry is the notion and the comfort of agency. And I think a lot of agencies have. We are not agents anymore. We are participants. We are assemblers. We're processors and synthesizers for our clients. And I think if we don't embrace those challenges and opportunities, we do run the risk of becoming our clients' competition and vice versa.
Jim, related to that, let me ask you this. This might be difficult.
Oh, great.
Congratulations.
That's exactly.
It seems to me that clients are changing their media agencies at a much, much more rapid clip than we've ever seen. Well, what's the driver of that? Is it just looking for better price? Is that what it is?
I think it varies, and I agreed. So we have seen, creative agencies have always tend to be a little bit more at risk. The switching costs seem to be lower. With media agencies, I think we are seeing a little bit more of more churn, and I think part of that is because the switching costs are starting to get lower, right? There's a lot of the services that these guys were just talking about that were traditionally only done by the agency that the client is now able to do him or herself. And so if they're able to do that, there's less need for the agency to be doing it, and it makes it easier than to switch who's providing that service.
Yeah.
I'll take a very sort of unique angle on it. I think media agencies really need to expand into influencer marketing and consider influencers as another paid media channel. So almost if they were to liken themselves to PR shops that have relationships with these influencers that have millions and millions of followers, buying a brand's way into that influencer's network is going to be very important. And I think then the point of differentiation is going to be which media agency has the better relationships.
Yeah. So you're a believer in influencers? Is it that there's this core group of influence, small group that affects everything? Yes?
Yes, and I wouldn't call it small. I mean, if you look at sort of the total amount of content produced on YouTube, for example, the majority of it is coming from these influencers with tens of millions of followers. So they are their own media networks.
The alternative theory is that we all have our own 6 or 7 influencers, right? And so there isn't just one group.
That's right. Yeah, we all do, and they're sort of different sizes in terms of who influences us. But absolutely think that that's a huge area. And in terms of the media and sort of creative working together at Havas, we have 5 clients where media and creative both work on the same brand, and it's worked very well. So the rebundling is definitely starting to happen, and it's appealing to the clients.
So Are you actively targeting what you define as influencers in a lot of campaigns?
We are working with them and bringing in our art directors, our production folks to take what the influencers are doing, enhance it, find ways to integrate the brands, and that is a big part of the media mix now.